tens of millions of people are about to be impacted by a massive storm that stretches from Canada all the way down to central Mexico. This rare system will bring forth a potential tornado outbreak in the south, and at the same time, wintry conditions will unleash across the north as a wall of cold air comes crashing down through the lower 48. In this video, we're going to go over all aspects of this thing so you can stay ahead of it. Now, in order to understand how this storm will impact a specific area, we have to understand the meteorology behind how this branch of the polar jet stream will come crashing down across the Rocky Mountains Monday night into Tuesday morning. You see, this will result in a very large trough that will move over towards the central US by Tuesday afternoon and evening. This type of trough normally wouldn't look very dangerous this time of year. As you can see, it's very broad and massive, and usually that means that the wind field is spreading energy over a very large area instead of packing a bunch of energy into a small location, basically keeping everything too spread out to cause concern. However, the section of the polar jet stream that is breaking off will actually collide and merge with a subtle streak of high winds from the subtropical jet stream. The marriage of these two normally separate streams of wind will spell trouble for everyone involved. This love story will not end well, and the meteorologists over at the Storm Prediction Center are agreeing with me, and they saw this coming from a mile away. As of filming this, they have a Day 3 enhanced risk of severe weather for places like Memphis, Tennessee, Jonesboro, Arkansas, and the majority of the mid-Mississippi River Valley. The wording they put out in conjunction with this outlook is concerning, mentioning a tornado outbreak and a potential categorical upgrade. This tells me that we're likely going to see a moderate risk of severe weather by the time we get to the Day 1 forecast. You see, last Friday, the Storm Prediction Center put out a Day 5 outlook that included a 30% risk area, and it's actually pretty rare that we see such confidence from intuitive meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center, and it's even more rare that we see that confidence in November. In fact, we've never seen a Day 5 30% risk area from the Storm Prediction Center in the month of November. Day 5 30% risk areas in the past have resulted in a moderate risk on Day 1 over 50% of the time, and there was even one high risk back in May of 2019. These elevated long-range forecasts don't always lead to significant severe weather events, but this time I think there's enough reason to believe that we should be taking this very seriously. The reason we're so confident that this storm's going to bring about severe weather is just because of all the crazy parameters that are involved. The low pressure associated with the polar jet stream trough is going to draw in warm air and moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, creating a broad, warm, and moist sector across the Arlatex region. The key to this event, though, is that marriage of the polar and subtropical jet streams. And normally, cold fronts this time of year are very strong because it's almost winter, and there's a lot of cold Arctic air behind them forcing them forward. This often leads to crashing cold fronts, and those usually bring about quick squall lines with mainly damaging wind threats. However, this subtropical wind streak residing over the warm sector ahead of the cold front is going to create what we call divergence aloft, and this divergence will allow for warm air to rise out ahead of the cold front and form into supercells. When and if this happens, things are going to get rough out there in the form of damaging winds, hail, and of course, tornadoes. As of right now, the timing of this event is also extremely unfortunate. It looks like these supercells are going to start firing off in the evening hours and carry into the overnight and early morning time period on Wednesday. It's really hard not to draw comparisons here to the historic tornado outbreak of December 2021. All of the ingredients are essentially the same, and the only difference this time is it looks like these storms will be a little bit farther to the south. But it's important to note that even when the synoptic pattern looks exactly the same, small little mesoscale differences at the surface will make a big difference in the actual outcome. Nevertheless, this is certainly a very concerning detail to keep in mind. Now, of course, it's important to not be scared, but instead be prepared. Make sure you and your family know what you're going to do in the event of a tornado warning. Practice your tornado action plan, and if you don't have one, make one. Charge batteries, clean out the storm shelter, and just know that even in the event of a big tornado outbreak, the odds of you being hit directly by a tornado are astronomically low. Despite this, it's always better to prepare for the worst. And of course, I'm going to be live right here on YouTube for the duration of the event with storm chasers on the ground. So make sure you subscribe to this channel right now and hit that bell because you're going to get a notification whenever I go live on Tuesday. Once again, outside of the severe weather threat, tens of millions of people across the US are going to be impacted by this massive storm. We're already starting to see this in the Pacific Northwest. Right now, we have a potent winter storm that's bringing in abundance of snow to areas near the Cascades and northern Rockies. Along with the heavy snow, the winds are creating whiteout conditions with gusts as high as 50 miles per hour. And the winds are also going to be high in the Rockies through Monday evening, as up to 70-mile-an-hour winds could be expected, especially through the southern extent of the range. Now, once this storm makes it into the Central Plains, light to moderate snow will break out from Denver all the way up to Minneapolis. This large band of snow will grow in intensity and coverage through the day on Tuesday while the severe weather is going on to the south. Strong winds and bitter cold wind chills will be expected up here as the low pressure system deepens and trajects off to the north and east. And after the severe weather on Tuesday, this huge linear wall of rain and storms will continue to trek across the deep south and Ohio Valley on Wednesday. The threat for severe weather will actually continue into portions of Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, as conditions will be favorable for widespread wind-driven severe weather during the entire day on Wednesday. As of right now, that severe weather threat looks less intense than Tuesday's, but it's still something that we've got to watch, and I'll update you on as we go forward. Temps are going to soar ahead of the cold front with highs in the 70s in Alabama on Wednesday morning, and then bottoming out in the 30s during the overnight period. The cold front will continue east and move the rain and thunderstorms along with it. However, east of the Appalachian Mountains, the severe weather threat is pretty low. Lots of rain and wind will be possible, and of course some backside snow can be expected in the northeast, but the thunderstorm action should be toning down a little bit. And speaking of winds, this storm's going to be strong enough to have a big tropical storm force wind gust field around it, even outside of thunderstorms. The winds are going to usher in much cooler air on the backside with a widespread area expecting temperatures between 10 and 20 degrees below normal through the first day of December. And as with any big system with cold air, we are expecting some snow accumulations up north. According to this model, the Cascades will be the big winners here with over 3 feet of snow, and there's going to be a swath of 2 to 4 inches across the northern plains, with a little extra around northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan, where we could see well over 6 inches of snow. And where it doesn't snow, it's gonna rain. This giant storm will drop a very widespread 1 to 4 inches of rain across the south, central, and eastern portions of the US. But look at all that precipitation out west. Not all of that is from the storm that's causing our big severe weather setup. There's actually another storm coming in behind that one, and it may cause problems in the very near future. It looks like December is going to be very active, not only in terms of severe weather and rain and all that stuff, but snow as well. We are going to see more cold air come down, and I've got a big video about this that I want to release here soon, but we've got to get through this severe weather threat first, okay? This is actually going to be a very dangerous situation. So of course, if you want more information on that, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to have updates for you as we go forward. All right, huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the channel. I am going to be live with Andy, Storm Chasers, everybody that's involved. We're going to be live during this big severe weather outbreak that's coming up on Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and just spread the word, okay? Get the word out there, let people know what's going on. A lot of times in fall and winter, people don't think about tornadoes and severe weather, and this looks like it's going to be the real deal. So let's make sure everybody knows what's coming, and I'll have another video update for you tomorrow, probably on the Extra channel, okay? So make sure you go over there and subscribe to that as well. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.